Good evening, depending on when you're seeing this presentation. Today we're going to talk about Japan again, and we're going to talk about the samurai. Here we see a samurai warrior on his horse. How did the samurai have the shogun have the daimyo come to power? Well, it started out with the Fujiwara. Fujiwara was a very influential family in Japan, and as a result of that, they began marrying their daughters off to the emperor's sons. And so they gained more and more and more power, eventually to the point where they would make the emperor resign so that a young child would be the emperor and they could be the regent and run Japan. And that happened for about 300 years. Well, other clans didn't like the fact that the Fujiwara were in charge. And so the Taira and Minamoto came together and they pushed the Fujiwara out, and then they turned on each other. And then finally, the Minamoto won in a sea battle, and their leader, Yorimo, gave himself the title shogun. Now, the title used to be bestowed by the emperor, and it was given to the leader of the imperial army. So then Japan breaks into a period of feudalism, and so now we have daimyos that exchange land for people to be part of their army. And they usually build a wooden castle and they put a wall around it. So I gave you an example of that. So they granted land, that's what feudal means. They granted land in exchange for services, and the services were to be in the army. So the samurai, and we have an old picture of the samurai there. The samurai served the daimyo. The daimyo, that was their private army. And so the samurai had a personal code of honor called the Bushido. And so number one was service to the daimyo. So if the daimyo was going to die, all his samurai warriors were going to die. That was part of their code. In fact, when they went into battle, they shouted their name and they shouted their family's name. It was a big deal that they were brave and they fought to the death. And the other thing was that they had their personal appearance, even the appearance of their horse had to be great. And so they had this personal code of honor. So remember Kublai Khan, who was in China, who was a Mongol, wanted tribute from the Japanese, and the Japanese refused. And so he sent, at first, he sent 25,000 warriors. Well, the samurai whipped up on them, and so they held off the attack, and finally storm blew in and blew Kublai Khan's ships away. Okay, so he sends more warriors. This time the samurai behead the guys he sends in, and they repel that attack. So he sends in a third group. This is a huge group. This is 140,000. These guys are supposed to be scared of him because he has all these horses, he has all these bombs, he has all this stuff. They repel the attacks for 2 months, and then they pray, and then a typhoon comes in and wipes out the Chinese fleet, wipes out their army, and at that point Kublai Khan just didn't send anybody else, and that typhoon was called a kamikaze. Now we're going to hear that word kamikaze again if we get a chance to talk about when the Japanese attacked us at Pearl Harbor, because their pilots were called kamikazes. And the word kamikaze means great wind. So today we got some simple questions from CNN 10. What can kids in Spain do today that they couldn't do, say, last week? And what is a shogun and what is a samurai? So samurai, I'll see you later. Have a great day.